Why should you kill a woman? Why? What makes you kill a woman? Unless you have lost your head, unless you're a mad person. And you know, it's not even nowadays, it's not even about guys. I have seen old women being killed. I have seen middle-aged women being killed for reasons that we are unable to understand up to today. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be a sport. Killing a woman can never become a sport. It must have consequences because those are human souls that we are losing every day. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I want to say that I remember there was legislation that was made in this House relating with gender violence. I don't know why they are not being more harsher than this, Mr. Speaker. We need to come up with a legislation that says if you kill a woman, you should be killed. If you kill a man, you should pay just 100 camels. Yeah, that's all. That's enough for a man. But if you kill a woman, because a woman is a factory, a woman is the one who produces men. Now you are killing the people who are supposed to bring life to us. If you kill a woman, Mr. Speaker, you must be killed also. Or you must face the death penalty. That should be the minimum that you should face. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I again thank Madam Honorable Passaris. She has she could not bring this motion a better day than today when we are celebrating Valentine.
Sure.
It's the best day to discuss this matter, Mr. Speaker, because many women have lost their lives through love. People they have trusted, people they have, developed relationship with. So, Mr. Speaker, the House must rise to the occasion, and the institutions that are mandated to take action, like the police, the DCI, must do everything possible to make sure that any man who hurts a woman, not only killing, who hurts a woman, must face the full force of the law, Mr. Speaker. Killing now. Any man who hurts a woman, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to support that legislation, that he should be. Some of us, let me not say mine, because I know how I treat women. I treat them very well. So they should follow my example.
Hey, you guys. Thank you. As I give Honorable Lachi, let me indicate that the screen is full of people who are not in the House. And please, our clerks, clear the lists. And also, I'm not seeing on the screen the honorable women on the screen. So please key in if you want to speak on this. Meanwhile, let me give Honorable Lachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank you so much because you have been one of those male champions that we have seen for many years on issues of women. As I stand to support this motion and to really appreciate my leader, Honorable Esther Passaris, for bringing in this motion at a time when we talk of love that has become a dark love that has brought more darkness than the love we thought about, love that has removed the book of Timothy chapter 13 from our faces and given us something else. Mr. Speaker, in Kenya today, we have robust laws. The framework is there on issues of gender. But on the 27th of January, Mr. Speaker, when women and men were coming out to just call upon the government to come in and see what is this that has just hit Kenya, that we can lose 10 women in January and more because we have more who we have not, we don't know whether they have also found themselves or their families have been able to go and report. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, the worrying trend is that we have normalized gender-based violence in Kenya. We have made it a very normal issue now. There is nothing as brutal, Mr. Speaker, as femicide. It's extreme. It is the worst violence any person can go through. And even when I look at the stories we are getting, it's not just in Kenya. You find a Kenyan who was in the US, you decide to brutal, kill your wife, kill your girlfriend, throw the girlfriend's body at the airport, and you just take a plane and come back to Kenya. And when you're in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, Kanyetha walks into the cells and comes out and says, I just walked out, then now you wonder, what just happened to Kenya? What happened to our security forces? Yes, I know people will start saying the women, but honestly, this is love. Nobody is pushing the other. Why would you do that? So for me, Mr. Speaker, the most worrying thing is that we must go back to the judiciary and request the judiciary, Mr. Speaker, that if we have a case of someone who has raped, someone who has murdered, honestly, you don't need to give a bail to this person, because the moment you go back, and when I was listening to Lilian Mheshimiwa, she is crying that we have someone who has just walked out of the cells, is now back in the village, and even the body is not yet buried of this woman. So you can imagine, Mr. Speaker, what this guy is saying, that he is okay, he is in control. There is nothing you can do. After all, he has gone to the cells of Homa Bay, and now he's back in the streets of Homa Bay, walking so gently without disregarding completely the fear he has just put to many of the members of that family that is mourning, but more importantly, just to imagine that we can be here listening. I want to request the CS internal security that in Homa Bay, since we have this case now, and they know the people, they know the chief, can first the chief be suspended, put aside for them to understand that case. Mr. Speaker, I would humbly also request that it is time the leadership to talk about it. Keeping quiet sends a very chilling fear in the country. It is important for them to raise a voice. And that voice will help for people to realize there are things that are happening that is wrong. We have given people, I want to finalize by just saying, as much as we have agreed people to walk into our airport, we have not told them to come and mayhem our girls because of what they want to achieve in their witchcrafts or any other things they are thinking. They want bodies, because you cannot just mayhem and cut somebody's head if you are not a witchcraft or a witch going to use it for your witchcraft, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support, and I really cry for the women of this country, and more importantly, please.
The Honorable Kimani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to add my voice to this discussion. And from the onset, I'd like to congratulate the County Member of Parliament for Nairobi, the Honorable Esther Pasaris, for bringing this particular motion today. Honorable Speaker, it is disheartening, it is very painful that we have the men who should be the protectors of the society are the ones who are killing women. Even in war, Honorable Speaker, women were never killed. If you study the wars in even in the stories in the Bible, there is no time that people killed women and children. So the fact that in 2024 we have men who, if you look at them on the road, you'll think they have sane mind, or you might respect them on the road, taking this heinous action of this injustice on women is truly, truly, truly sad. And Honorable Speaker, if you listen to some of the arguments made, including on social media, saying, oh, the lady, for example, ate your money, they ate your transport money, you send money for transport, they did not come. You are a fool to have sent money to someone for them to come. Because even this thinking, Honorable Speaker, that sex is only enjoyed by men is so false. If she wants to have sex, she is going to enjoy it too. And therefore, there is no reason why you should spend your money for someone who doesn't want to come to you. And the irony also, Honorable Speaker, if you listen to many women, they're saying men are not there to love them. They are saying the ratio between those who are in relationships and married and those who are not is actually not equal. So the excuse that men give that it is the woman on the wrong, she was wearing the wrong dress, she was walking alone at night, she took herself, is all lame excuses. And we must call them as it is and condemn it and say this nonsense must stop, Honorable Speaker. But even when we say that, we must address inequalities that exist. If we have young girls who have to sleep with men to have sanitary towels, then that's why even some of these problems start. Because for the voices of women to be heard, for something as basic as sanitary towels to our girls in secondary schools and primary school, we have to beg for it. They have to beg for it. Last session, the women of this house was paralyzed the house because money that was supposed to be allocated for sanitary towels for schools had not got there. So we have money to give condoms in public places, but we don't have money for sanitary towels for our girls. That's where the problem begins, Honorable Speaker. When women dare to run for politics, for example, Honorable Speaker, that's when the problem gets. We start asking them, who is your husband? Who have you slept with? Even when you find a lady in a lucrative office, you think that she must have slept with somebody for her to get to that office. And once we begin changing this story and this narrative and seeing women as competent people who can do so many things and they're able to do so many other things that men are not able to do, then we are going to have a conversation and a change in mind and heart. Yes, we have very many brilliant, in fact, if you check even the mere ability of a woman to multitask and do so many things at the same time. You know, the women who here seated in this house, sometimes we stay with them here up to late, and some of them are expected to still go home and prepare meals for their husbands. You know, and this day when you're celebrating a love. So let us begin by a change in in attitude that women can be in positions of office, elected or appointed. They can work in any office, in any profession by merit, and not because they're so-and-so's girlfriend or they're sleeping so-and-so. And once we have that change of mindset and provide these basic facilities that we need to provide, for example, sanitary towels, then you're going to see a change in heart. And lastly, as Honorable, as the Minority Whip said, those that kill women, those that hurt women, those that slap women, those that beat them are cowards. If you really want to beat somebody, go get a man your match and beat him up if you want to prove a point. With that, I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, the Honorable Donya Doris. She in the house? No, we are just following our own queue here. So next is the Honorable Jonathan Ngen, not in the house. Clear for me the list. So next is the Honorable Zamzam Chimba. Oh, sorry. Order. I did not know the Honorable Johanna was in the house. Proceed, Johanna, and then you'll come later. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to add my voice to this sad situation that has been happening in our country. I think it is the first time in the history of our country when people who I really do not understand, Mr. Speaker, it's like a cult of individuals who, I don't know, they think they derive something from the death, cruel death of young children, young ladies. Mr. Speaker, I really wish to thank Mheshimiwa Pasaris, who is also in my committee, belongs to my committee, for bringing this particular topic and this issue so that the Kenyan people can understand, most importantly, that, and who also supported, who supported, Mr. Speaker, the issue of standing with ladies and women of this country, Mr. Speaker. That shows she's a very great lady who thinks widely and who cares about their daughters or her daughter. Mr. Speaker, I also have daughters. And when I see young women being killed, young women being exploited, young women done all sorts of manner of things, Mr. Speaker. I feel that something should be done in this country. Like what my colleagues have said, we saw some few years ago about deaths, cruel deaths of young ladies, like Chelele from Bomet, like Monica, like even the woman who was from Migori, who was expectant, Sharon. When you hear how she died, Mr. Speaker, you know, sometimes even there are some deaths which you can imagine how cruel or how long that death comes. You know, sometimes you feel that if you must die, you die in such a way that the time for death is so short. But you can imagine how Sharon must have felt through that moment when somebody is driving a knife on her stomach. Mr. Speaker, and then the latest, where a lady, somebody is dismembering somebody. I don't know if he dismembered that lady when she was still alive, cutting a piece of her hand, a piece of her leg, and then now approaching the head. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what kind of punitive measures. And when I saw, I must thank the lady judge who gave a ruling that put somebody behind bars. Mr. Speaker, I don't know why. Of course, they say the law is an ass. Why would you even give a murderer bail or bond? These are people who are supposed to stay behind bars for as long as the case is ongoing until it is determined. But of course, you know, we have a constitution that gives people the right to have the right to bail and the right to come and stay around, hang around, kill witnesses, threaten witnesses. But Mr. Speaker, on this case of ladies being killed, I don't know what kind of punitive measures we should. I think apart from even the constitution itself, as members of parliament, we need to give serious and punitive measures against these killers. You know, when you read the case of rape and defilement, Mr. Speaker, for those of us who know this law, the case of defilement is a little bit weaker than even the case of rape. And defilement is on children, young children below 18 years. Then you wonder, why are you giving somebody who defile young children below 18 years such an understanding? So, Mr. Speaker, I think as members of this House, and I wish Mheshimiwa Pasaris and the rest of the ladies in this House, including Mheshimiwa Beatrice, the great woman from Kericho, bring a law here that anybody who does anything wrong, defiling or killing a young lady, or a lady for that matter, should not be given any bail. They should rot in the police cells so that people can understand the morality and how to live in this world.
You made your point. Proceed, Honorable Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi kama mama kaunti wa Mombasa niweze kutoa mchango wangu. Mheshimiwa Spika, inasikitisha sana hata baada ya taifa hili kupata uhuru, kina mama wa taifa hili bado hawana uhuru. Kina mama wanauliwa usiku na mchana. Sote tunajua mama ni pambo la ndoa, mama ni pambo la mwanamume, mama ni pambo la ndani ya nyumba. Mama ndio ambaye ndio mlezi. Sisi kina mama ndio tunaoshika mimba, tunakula udongo, tunakula matope, tunatapika, tunapitia hali yote ile duni ili kuweza kuzaa mtoto ambaye pengine ni mtoto wa kiume. Inasikitisha Mheshimiwa Spika, leo mama anadhalilika katika taifa hili. Na kusikitika zaidi ni kuwa hata waziri ambaye ni waziri wa usalama hajatoka kuzungumzia mambo haya yanayotendeka. Na mimi napenda hata tuweze kumuita ndani ya bunge hili aweze kutuambia visa hivi ambavyo vimetokea, watoto wetu wa kike wameuliwa. Tumesikia story ya Sharon, ilitugusa sisi sote. Juzi Mombasa kuna mwanamke mama mtu mzima amechinjwa kama vile anavyochinja ng'ombe na mjukuu wake wa kiume. Lakini mambo haya yanapelekwa chini ya maji. Mambo haya hayazungumziwi Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi ningependa waziri wa usalama aje hapa atuambie anafanya kitu gani kuhakikisha kuwa visa hivi vinaweza kuchukuliwa hatua na mambo haya yakaisha. Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanatendeka ndani ya social media, kwenye mitandao. Sisi kina mama tunatukanwa na watu tunaowajua, atakupa matusi mpaka yale ya mvunguni. Roho zetu ni ndogo, roho zetu ni dhaifu. Mheshimiwa Spika, unapata mtu, kuna watu wengi wametoka kwenye mtandao, ameenda amefunga kamba, amejiua kwa sababu yale mambo ambayo yanaambiwa kwenye social media. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni mambo ya kumdhuru, ni mambo ambayo yanamtoa ile hadhi yake, ni mambo ambayo yanamsumbua hata usingizi hawezi kupata. Mheshimiwa Spika, na ndio mambo ambayo sisi ndani ya bunge hili inafaa tuangalie. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna watu hata kama kuna freedom ya speech, Mheshimiwa Spika, haya mambo yamefika mbali, na leo watoto wetu wanaitwa kwenye mtandao. Hawa ambao unaona wameuawa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni watoto ambao wametongozwa kwenye mtandao. Mtu anampigia simu ama anamchat, akishamchat anamwambia njoo mahali fulani, kisha anachukua advantage kuwa yule amekuja, anamuua kiukatili, anatoa sehemu za mwili, anaondoka nazo. Mheshimiwa Spika, na nakutamausha, serikali imenyamaza. Serikali imenyamaza Spika. Mimi kama mama kaunti wa Mombasa, mimi nasikia uchungu sana. Ni wakati sasa serikali ianze kuchukua hatua. Ni wakati ambapo serikali ianze kusikiza sauti za kina mama. Mimi nimekuwa na tena, mimi nataka kuwapongeza sana wale wabunge wanaume walioko ndani ya bunge hii wakati huu ambapo tunatoa huu mjadala. Nimshukuru ndugu yangu Junet, nimeona Kiare pale, nimeona na wabunge wanaume. Nyinyi mmesimama na kina mama, na mimi leo nawapongeza. Bunge limebaki tupu. Watakuja na mijadala yao, watataka sisi kina mama tuwatetee, sisi tunauliwa. Tutasimama na wale viongozi ambao wanasimama na kina mama. Mheshimiwa Spika, na ni wakati ambapo tuanze kuzungumza kwa sauti moja. Mwanamke anafaa heshimiwe, mtoto wa kike anafaa athaminike. Haya mauaji tunasema yaweze kusitishwa. Tumezungumza tukilalamika siku zote. Mheshimiwa Spika, nenda katika makoti yetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kesi zimejaa. Mtoto amelawitiwa, mtoto mdogo, mtoto ameuawa, lakini kwa sababu hata wale majaji wa kutosha pia hatuna. Na ndio mimi kama mama kaunti namlilia Chief Justice wetu kule Mombasa, tuongezee majaji. Hizi kesi ziko, babu amelawiti mjukuu wake, ametoka yuko kule anauza barafu, mtoto anakaa na aibu, mtoto wa class 6 wa skuli. Yule mzee yuko nje tu anacheza ile keram, anafanya mambo yake anamwendea. Yule wa Sharon tunaona kule nje wako tu, hatujapata mtu paka sasa ambaye alimuua, wala kesi jaamuliwa kivovote vile. Yule mama amekufa na mtoto wake. Mheshimiwa Spika, kama mama county mimi nasema tuweke sheria, mwenye kuua auliwe, mwenye kulawiti mtoto mdogo akatwe dude lake. Mheshimiwa Spika, tusipokwenda namna hiyo, hii watu watakuwa wakiendelea kila siku wanalawiti watoto, wanaua kina mama, na wao wanakaa wakinywa kahawa wakijisikia vizuri mahali wako. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi tunasema jicho kwa jicho, sikio kwa sikio. Ukiua na wewe uwawe, ukilawiti na wewe ukatwe dude lake. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
The Honorable John Tunga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.